Hey, how you doing? I'm pretty good. I can't complain. I'm in a good space today. Well, I guess the it's going out. I guess I'm live. YouTube did something different. I was able to put my hey Kirby. I was able to put my live onto Facebook. I didn't have that access before, and I guess they made it visible for easy access, which I'm glad about. Very happy. I I didn't see where I could send an invite to Instagram. I don't see Instagram on here. So I guess they don't have Instagram on here. Oh well. So much for that. So you doing all right, Miss Kirby? I forgot how I hadn't did YouTube in such a while. I forgot I like to read from my notes so I won't miss the points that I'll be trying to make. And I think what happened, I used to read from my notes and my face wasn't seen. I think that's what it was. So I put it on my cell phone. Hopefully my cell phone does not go off. Yeah. Whew, I'm sweating, sweating, sweating. I don't know why I'm sweating so much right now. Sweat a lot. See, I've had this computer on all day. It is kind of warm. Right. Yeah, I feel you. I used to, most of the people that I kind of follow, they're in TikTok now. They went to TikTok because they were making money. They were making money in on YouTube, and then they went over to TikTok. Oh well, so much for that. You said they'll be back. Oh yeah, that place is too much. I can tell the difference in this energy versus that energy right now. I am relaxed. So I'm enjoying it. Over there, whew, my son was laughing at me because he said, I knew you were going to leave TikTok. He said, I knew you wasn't going to stay there. The only thing about YouTube and TikTok, people can verbally uh, chat with you, and I see why people like that part than YouTube. But I still like YouTube because I could just go in and say what I need to say and be done with it. Uh, let's see, they've changed some features on here too. Let's see. Okay, what's that? Oh, share the screen. Uh, y'all gonna hear my son going out the door. He smokes, so every time he goes out the door, the camera goes off. Oh, okay. The live. I'm trying to think where is this live because it says 7:48 on their screen, but my time is 6:03. I wonder they must be in Eastern Standard Time because I think 7:59 is. That's really weird. Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna just go ahead and get started. I'm not gonna wait. Whoever come. Okay. Glad to see you guys here. Thanks for coming in and support me. This particular topic is it is why reactions matter. Maturity, respect, and human behavior explained. So you guys know that I like to do the disclaimer because it's for YouTube. Um, all information provided on this channel is for educational purposes only, and this channel does not promote or encourage misuse of the information. I will use words that are not intended to offend anyone, but rather to describe my point of view and how I see things. I encourage you to always consider your intuition and discernment at all times. Uh, Mature behavior shows up as calm, accountability, respect for boundaries, and the ability to communicate without attacking. While immature behavior shows up as overacting, mocking, or ignoring limits. I'm showing you the difference between the two. Oh, you see me too on your end? Oh, you can't see me anymore? Well, the screen is black. That's weird. Are you good now? Because it shows that I'm on the screen. Okay. So what I'm doing now is showing the difference between the words mature and immature, respect and non-respect, and on and on and on. So I just gave you the difference between mature and immature. So respect honors another person's dignity, time, and non-respect dismisses their boundaries, needs, or no. Sometimes people mirror your behavior, matching your calm tone or respect, but when they don't, they react their reactions come from their own insecurities, projections, emotions, patterns, not from you. People a lot of times will tell you that the reason why you're experiencing uh you get annoyed by somebody else because they are a mirror of your behavior. Sometimes that's true and sometimes it's not true. But it's important to take a look at if you're getting annoyed by that person's behavior towards you. You do want to examine yourself to make sure it's not a mirror, because sometimes it is a reflection. That's something I've been practicing for some time now. Whenever I get annoyed by people, I always look at me and see why am I annoyed with that person. And once I go through and examine myself to see why I'm annoyed by that person, and I see that it's not me, it's them. Because I feel that every person that we meet in life uh, is an education for us. You learn the good, the bad, and the indifference when you meet people. And it's important to have knowledge. It's important to have information because you can make better decisions. When you are flexible in knowledge and information, that gives you more access to what you need to be doing in life. If you are narrow minded in your thinking, then you kind of put yourself in a cave. You really put yourself in a cave. And when you put yourself in a cave, everything is wrong except for you. Um, I remember one time when I used to read the Bible literally. Um, I started throwing away pictures. My son got trophies from his job. I wouldn't let him bring those trophies in the house because they were considered to be idols, just all that craziness. And I was imprisoning myself mentally because I was reading the Bible literally. And that's why I understand it better and better now because I know where I was and I can see where people are that are still in that place. You literally can enslave your own self. Really. Trust me, you can. So sometimes people mirror your behavior, matching your calm tone and respect, but when they don't, their reactions comes from their own insecurities, projections, or emotional patterns, not from you. Now, immaturity, it was a response to repeated correction and a public boundary violation, showing the difference between checking yourself and enforcing a limit. This ties directly into the distinction between guidance and control. Mother on the panel. Uh, Energy offers wisdom without forcing agreement while controlling behavior, tries to shape others, dominate the narrative, or remove choice. When I say take what resonate with you and throw it away, I'm modeling mature respect and guidance that preserve and rejects control. I'm saying take what resonate with you, and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. That's my way of showing that I respect where you are, no matter where you are. You know, I respect that, but I want you to respect where I'm at as well. And if you think that where you are is going to disrespect me because this room is where I'm at, then it's the best thing to do to keep from disrespecting is to go in another room where it's okay, because it's not okay. Um, the universe that I serve does things in order, and I try to be in order. I'm an orderly type person. I'm a Virgo, and Virgos are true Virgos. There's a lot of Virgos out there that are not true. I'm a true Virgo. And in my younger years, I used to try to perfect everything that I did, wind up messing myself up mentally. But I had to go through that process because I had to realize nobody's down here perfect. You can't be perfect, Deborah. You can do the best you can in whatever you do, but that don't mean you're gonna master everything. Some things you just ain't gonna master. And so at that time, I didn't call it mastering, I called it perfecting. And that's what I was trying to do in my younger years. And when I did not do that, I got sometimes very depressed because it's in me to perfect. And I can say today, it's in me to master the things that causes harm to me. That's my job for me. And so you're going to hear me saying me all the time because I am an example, and I've been through many, many things, and I try to use myself as an example uh, instead of pointing the fingers. I don't particularly like pointing the fingers. If I have to, I will. I don't, though, but I will. But I prefer to use myself as an example. Uh, Many misinterpret. So, mature. The meaning of mature is to be fully developed emotionally, mentally, or physically, to behave when responsibility, balance, and throughout judgment. An example: a person who stays calm during conflicts and thinks before reacting, someone who talks accountability instead of blaming others. That's the mature person. If you are a person that believes in accountability for yourself and you believe that people should have accountability as well, and those people don't take accountability of themselves, that energy is not good for you, because you're trying to learn to take accountability. You're trying to master your lower part of yourselves, and you can't master your lower part of yourself if you're around somebody that's not trying to master them lower part of themselves. You have to, unfortunately, you may like them, but you have to get rid of them, because you have to go on that journey by yourself. They can't help you on on your journey. You got to help yourself. And sometimes as people, because we like certain people and we know that they have low vibration, we know that, but we hang around them anyway, and we stay around them too long, which is not a good thing. And me, I tend to stay around people longer than I should. uh, I always did that. I'm gonna have to stop. So, immature. Immature is not fully developed emotionally or behaviorally, acting in ways that lack response. responsibility, stability, or wisdom. Example: throwing tantrums when corrected, making fun of others instead of communicating directly. And that's what immature people do. You got people, they like to mock. Immature people like to mock people. They like to make fun of their hurt and pain. I don't know if you ever seen that, but we had some of that in the chat room on TikTok. We had quite a bit of that mocking and laughing and making fun of someone's pain. That is immaturity, and I don't make lightly of that. It's not fun for me to laugh at somebody's suffering. I don't do it. I don't practice it, and I don't particularly like nobody else's ways that's doing it as well. You see me check that in a minute, you know, if they're around me, because if somebody pouring their heart out to you and it's suffering and you're sitting up there laughing about it, what does that make you? What does that make you? What type of person does that make you? Think about it. Because what you don't realize, if you are a mother and you got children, your actions affect your children. In the Bible, it says that a son would not die for his father, and his father would not die for the son. It's in Ezekiel. You are responsible for your own behavior, but as a mother, it's different. It's just different as a mother, because what happens is, with you being a mother, your actions affect your children. Why? Because your children are a mirror of you. They are a mirror of you. So what they do affects you. What you do affects them. So you have to constantly uh, uh, do an examination of yourself and mark your steps, and ask your insight to help you, to give you strength. It does. These few days has been kind of tough for me, really tough for me, but I made it through, because things happen and you don't want it to happen a certain way, but when it happens, it grieves you. And when it grieves you, you get past the grief, and then you just keep going on, because it happened. It is what it is. Ain't no sense of beating yourself up continually about it. It is what it is. And so let's see, let me take this out because it looked like it's okay. All right. So respect, a feeling or action that shows esteem, consideration, proper regard for someone's worth, boundaries, and rights. Example: listen without interrupting, over talking, honoring someone's time, feeling, or property. Uh, a lot of people don't do that. The non respect. The non respect is lack of respect, failure to respect rules, boundaries, or people, disregard for what is important and appropriate. Example: ignoring someone's no. If I say no, I don't do that, and you're mocking me and you're laughing at me, what are you doing? You're showing me disrespect. My humor is not your humor. Your humor is not my humor. You know what I'm saying? If you are my friend, we supposed to learn each other, and we learn each other by respecting one another. That's why we're learning each other, so we can respect one each other. My son and I, he's 47. And when he was young, we've been staying together since I divorced his father. And we've been staying together since then. Um, he, when he was young, there was no boundaries for him. He was just wild. And then as he began and I tried to tell him, but I couldn't tell him really anything. He just had to do it himself to learn it himself. And so he did that. So as time progressed, him and I start uh, teaching each other uh, what respect is to us. You know, he knows if I clean up on Sunday, which I do, I like to clean up. I don't like dust. I'm just that person. And so he would, he asked me, he told me, he said, Mom, don't cook no more because you cooked enough for Daddy. So you don't have to cook for me. Just on special occasions, he wants me to cook for him. Like his birthday is coming up. He wants me to cook him a meal for that. But because he saw me cooking and working and all that stuff for years for his father, he have a respect for me and say, Mama, I'm not gonna encourage you to do that for me because I can do it for myself. Or if I don't want to do things for myself, I go out and buy me something to eat. And he does that, and I really appreciate that he thought enough for me to say, Mama, you don't have to do that. Okay. And there's little things that him and I do with one another. Like when I clean up on Sundays, he'll say, Mama, I know your legs hurting, so you want me to go get you something to eat? So he'll go get me something to eat if that's what I want. Because sometimes I have stuff in the refrigerator already cooked. But it's just amazing after a period of time. And we keep harmony. There's no arguments, there's none of that. In the younger years that it was there, but we learn one another. We learn one another so we wouldn't step on each other's toes. And it's a beautiful relationship. Um, and I'm just loving it. So a lot of people don't have boundaries. Like when I was on TikTok, people were sending me messages in my inbox at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. They had no consideration that I might have been sleeping. So what I had to do, and I keep my phone on just in case. My daughter doesn't live in the same state that I live in, and she takes care of her father. And so I leave my phone on uh, just in case there's an emergency. But I couldn't do that with TikTok, so I had to tell her, look, just get somebody to call your brother. And because I can't sleep with the TikTok just ringing my thing all night long, just all night long. Because if I cut it off, if I would cut TikTok off, it was hard for me to get back on. That's why I kept it on all the time. And people thought that I was actually in TikTok, but I wasn't in TikTok. I just had it on. And so that was crossing boundaries. I think that if people, just because you can't sleep, that don't mean I can't sleep. I'm sleeping. You're up. You the one having sleeping problems. I'm not having sleeping problems. I sleep. When I get sleepy, I sleep. Sometimes I get up earlier, uh, sometimes. But most times I sleep at least a good 4 to 5 hours, sometimes 6. If I sleep more than 6 hours, I get sluggish. So I don't like that feeling. So my body just automatically, the maximum would be 6 hours. So the respect, uh, uh, breaking agreement or rules without concern for consequences. When others are a mirror of your behavior, meaning their reaction reflects your tone, energy, or action, or unconsciously through psychological process called mirroring. This can happen through posture, tone, facial expression, or emotion responsibility responses. Examples: you stay calm and they naturally calm down too. You speak respectfully and they match your respect tone. You smile or lean forward and they do the same suddenly. Now, this usually indicates rapport, empathy, or emotional atonement. Uh, and I want to say that because when sometimes people do mirror you. If you have something that they see as pleasant, as kind and beautiful, then they copy you, and it's okay because people gonna always have a reason to copy somebody. And I have to tell my daughter a lot of times, don't get mad. Because when I was young, I used to get mad when people used to copy me. But I didn't know no better at that time. So when I learned better, then I started speaking better. And so I was able to explain it to my daughter. And so people are always copying her. And I told her, I said, they admire the things that you do. And because they admire the things that you do, it's okay. And it took her a while to get there. And it took me a while to get there. So the mirroring in that sense is okay. But then you got the negative mirroring. Um, so while others are not a mirror of your behavior, meaning their reaction comes from their own issues, projections, insecurities, or emotional immaturity, not from anything you did. They're not reflecting you, they are expressing themselves. The align as psychological mirroring research. Mirroring is unconscious imitation when it's absent. Behavior is driven by internal factors rather than social sympathy. Example: you speak calmly, but they become defensive or angry because they feel insecure. You show kindness, but they respond with jealousy or suspicion. You set a boundary respectfully, and they accuse you of being mean because they can't handle boundaries. A lot of people, a lot of people are not used to structure. And because they're not used to structure, you are a B. Because you are structured, you are a B. You are accused of words that you're not because they're not structured people. And it took me some time to get used to that. I didn't get used to what they call me. It took me some time to realize what their behavior was. And so when I saw what their behavior was, I recognized what that behavior is today because I'm an observer of people's behavior. People have patterns, and a lot of times they don't know they have patterns. Well, there are some of us down here that pay attention to our behavior, and we pay attention to your behavior because that's just what we are. Can't help it. Even if you try to change it, don't want to be that way, you're going to be that way because that's your nature. That's a part of your nature. And so people get offended when you are structured and they're not. And people get offended because they have bad mothers. And so when you come across as a motherly type of person, then that takes them back to memories of what they had with their mother, and then they attack you. They attack you because of what they have experienced with their own mothers, and sometimes they don't see it, and sometimes they don't care. And I've seen a lot of that in adult people. So, responsibility, emotion develop, examples: staying calm in conflict, immature, lacking emotional development. Example: overacting or mocking, laughing at others' weaknesses. Respect, esteem, proper treatment. Example: listening, honoring boundaries. Non respect, disregard for rules and people. Example: ignoring someone's no. Mirror behavior, others reflect your tone or action. Example: they calm down when you do. Not a mirror. Their behavior comes from them, not you. Example: you calm their anger. A rude behavior. A rude behavior is taking over someone's else just to dominate the conversation. Ignoring a greeting when someone says hi and acknowledge you. Some people don't think that it is rude when someone cross your path and they say hi to you and you quietly walk away. I remember back in the day, back in the 70s, when I was working for IBM, I would say hi to Avians and they would not say nothing. They wouldn't say a word. Then, as time progressed, years later, here we are now, here black people doing that very same thing that Avians did. You speak, you give manners, and they don't speak back, many of them. And I said to myself, now I see where the Avians got that from. They got that stuff from the black folks. Why? Because the black folks was here before the Avians. So that's how I know. And that is a form of disrespect. A lot of people don't do it. I noticed too, the older people start doing it. But the older people is supposed to be an example for the youth. And many of the older people have not been the example for the youth. That's why a lot of younger people don't respect the elderlies today, because other elderlies have not been respectful. They have not stayed in their proper place to be respected. They start stooping down, acting like the younger people themselves. I've seen older people wearing mini dresses. You're 70 years old. Why you wearing a mini dress? Yeah, you got beautiful legs, and that's okay. But baby, you had your time. You shouldn't be wearing them mini dresses at your old age. And to say that, I don't think about age, but you old. And as you progressively get older, there is a certain attire goes with your age, okay? Because it don't look respectful. Because what it does, it puts on a persona of yourself that maybe you don't want people saying. You know, we have to respect the ages that we become. When I was 20, I was out there just being free. 30, almost doing the same thing. 40, almost doing the same thing. When I got close to midway 40, my thought process started to change. You know, morality really kicked in. I tried to guard against things that I do. I tried to treat people the way I wanted to be treated, but I had an anger issue. I did. I had an anger issue. I didn't like people telling me what to do when they weren't doing what they supposed to be doing. I didn't have a problem with you giving me advice when I see you trying to do the right thing. But when I see that you're not trying to do the right thing, you're trying to give me advice, I don't like that. And then if when you're mocking me and you're picking at me, that's a problem too, because I know the difference. You know, people don't think that you don't be just because you don't talk about it don't mean that you don't know. You know, sometimes I just like to be silent about a person's behavior. Sometimes, you know, I don't like to bring up every behavior that you're penetrating. So, rude behavior, ignoring somebody's greeting, that's rude. Walking away mid conversations without saying anything, that's rude. Using a harsh or mocking tone, even when the words themselves are neutral. I've had to, because I've had people in my chat room on TikTok, they were rude, they were uh low vibration, and I would ask over and over, talking to children, to stop doing that, please, and they still. So I had to meet them where they were. I literally had to go down in a place where they were with their behavior. And then when I did that, because I wanted to show them a mirror of themselves, instead of them seeing that mirror, they said I was being mean or I was being nasty. And yes, I did go in that place uh, because you were in that place. And I wanted you to see what you were looking like to me. You were not looking like a person that had respect. You know, people want to be treated like an adult, but you have to be an adult. An adult means that you're mature. That's why in the courtroom, you notice you cannot go in the courtroom when there's a trial to be done in a courtroom without an attorney, because adult people are not considered to be adults. They're considered to be children. That's why the judge asked for an attorney. That attorney is the adult to the uh, judge for you, because you can't speak for yourself. Yeah, you ever paid attention to that? That's seriously real. Okay. All right. So I've done that. So rolling your neck and sucking your teeth and smirking to show disrespect, that's rude. All that stuff is rude. Interrupting with sarcasm instead of letting the person finish their thought. A lot of that, lot of that went on in TikTok. Uh, Purposely excluding someone from a conversation happening right in front of them. I've been in chat rooms with some fellas on TikTok that were Masons, and they totally ignored the fact that I was there because I was a woman. It's rude. You know that I was not sitting on the panel. I was just standing there and just see if the person just say, "Hey, Deborah." No, none of that. And I stood there for a while. You know, it's rude. You want people to respect you as a Mason, but you have no respect for women. And because you have no respect for women as a Mason, nobody's going to look up to you. Well, not nobody in their right mind. Okay, so purpose excluding someone from a conversation happening right in front of them. So responding with one word answer shoots the person down. How you doing? Good. Are you going to the store today? No. You know how long you gonna be there? No. You literally being rude because you don't want to talk to the person. You really want them out your face. How do I know? Because I've done that myself. Oh, it's just funny. Okay, acting annoyed when someone asks a simple question, even though you're not busy. Could you help me with putting words on the screen? And you ignore me. You ain't saying nothing. And I'm asking you a second time. You still ain't saying nothing. Just totally ignore me. And then finally, after about a half a day, did you ask me something earlier? You heard exactly what I asked you. And so if I do the same thing to you, then what? I'm being nasty, but then you wasn't nasty when you were doing it. Sometimes you have to give people a mirror of their behavior. So when I was in TikTok treating people like children, I was mirroring them. I was showing them, trying to show them that they were acting like children, especially when I said things over and over and over to them. Come on now, y'all grown folks. Why would somebody need to take y'all go in these chat rooms every day and y'all know what the process is? Why would somebody grown need to tell another grown person about a process that they do every day? Don't even make sense. So at the end part, I was mirroring them, letting them know how they was acting. But then I thought about it. I said, you know what? The universe deals with me with numbers. And so because the universe deals with me with numbers, I've been seeing 555 a lot. And so I've been ignoring 555 because every time I made a decision to leave TikTok, somebody would get in my chat and they would be crying. And I have this weakness to where I feel sorry for people because of their tears, because of what they're going through. But the universe had already told me leave TikTok. And I stayed there. I stayed there till something forced me to leave. And when that incident happened, that was enough for me. Because now TikTok went from enjoying being on TikTok, enjoying teaching, to now it's a job. It became a job for me, and I don't like jobs. And excuse me, because it became a job, I just packed up, you know, and unplugged. And I'm telling you, it's I so feel freedom because I wasn't on there for money. There was no money on there for me to make. Okay. Speaking directly instead of gossiping, setting boundaries without attacking, asking questions instead of assuming, take responsibility for your tone, walking away from drama instead of feeding it. I am a direct person. I like to handle directness. If there's a problem, I have this thing that's in me and I'm wired that way. If this plug is not working, I'm going to try to fix the plug because I'm wired that way. If the toilet is running, I'm going to take the top off and see, look in there and see what's causing it running, because I am wired that way. When there's a situation going on between me and a person, I may pick up the phone and call somebody and share with them what I just experienced with Betsy. But that person look at it as gossiping. It's not. I'm trying to understand what just happened. Even though I'm 69 years old, I don't understand everything. But they'll take the analyzing part of me as a gossiping, just misinformation. And people don't take the time to really see how individuals really are. They just automatically assume because that's their experience. Maybe that's who they are. And so they misinterpret who you are. And then they go tell Jody, Betsy, well, all she is, she fusses all the time. She uh uh she says things that's not written nowhere, that kind of stuff. And people come back and tell me, and people don't come back and tell me because they have my best interest at hand. They come back and tell me because they want a reaction from me. I see all that stuff. I mean, some of us get old and don't learn nothing, but there are a few of us out there get older and we learn as we go. I'm a learner as I go. So it's disrespectful, and it's not always gossip when someone is trying to understand the behavior of an incident that just happened with them. They're trying to understand. If you get a person that is blunt, if you get a person that is honest and straightforward, trust me, that person is not a gossiper. They just trying to understand some things. You know the difference between a gossiper and a person is trying to analyze what happened. If you were a person that uses your intuition, you would know the difference. It's not difficult to have that distinction. Laughing at somebody else's mistake, that's a no-no. I remember when I used to work at IBM, when how the new kid on the block, and how the old folks don't want to teach the new kid on the block. They want the new kid on the block just make all kinds of mistakes. Well, I was that one person that would grab the person by the hand and say, let me show you how to do this. They couldn't stand it that I was that way. I couldn't help it. That's just who I was then, and that's who I am now. I it's not funny to me that people make mistakes. I don't laugh at people's mistakes. As much as I hated my ex-husband and I used to pray shit happened to him. I did. When we got divorced, when I divorced him, I did. Nothing happened to him. Okay. But as time progressed and I got past the pain and I healed, uh, I started seeing stuff happening to him. He would get this big set of money, but things would happen to his body and stuff. And I started feeling sorry for him, even to this day. He got the money, but he can't enjoy it because he got body pains. He can't even walk now. And I used to cry about it, because I feel like when a person work all their life, when they get a certain age, they should be able to enjoy the fruit of their labor. I just feel that way about people. You should enjoy it. He can't enjoy the fruit of his labor because number one, he can't walk, he can't take care of himself. He has to have my daughter with him most of the time, and she feel trapped because she has to be there for him. And I try to console her as much as I can. And it's funny because now she's telling me, well, mom, it ain't so bad now. So where before it was, mom, I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I don't have no life, mom. And now she's saying, okay, I found the way to lift him now. I found the way I can take him places with me. So that's where she's at now. It ain't easy taking care of people. Trust me. I had to take care of my grandpa and my auntie. So it's not fun. It's not good to laugh and make fun of people. And that's a lot of people are like that. A lot of people know how to do a certain thing. What I asked three people on TikTok how to do something on my screen, my TikTok screen, and they pretended like they didn't know. I would go to their chat room and they were putting stuff on their screen. And I'm like, then that but you're saying that you're there for me. See, being there for me means you're there for me. You're there for me because I'm there for you. It should never be a one-sided thing. It should always be two. I'm there for you, you there for me. That way you wouldn't feel like, oh, that person is just using you, or that person is just taking advantage of you, because that person gives back to you as well as you give to that person. The non-respect, ignoring someone's boundary and doing it anyway. uh Talking over people intentionally. See a lot of that. Making jokes about someone's insecurities. See a lot of that. Right there in TikTok. Dismissing someone's feelings as dramatic. I was, there is people, there's certain women that have cultures, and in their cultures, they have a way that they communicate with each other, and that's all right between them. But it wasn't all right between me. I saw it as disrespect, so I was classified as being petty. I'm not petty at all. I just demand respect because I'm gonna give it to you. I don't see you mocking me as a form of respect. I don't see that at all. That's, you're mocking me. You're disrespecting me. Okay, that's not funny to me. Harsh behavior. Speaking in a sharp, cutting tone, even if the words are simple, the tone feels like an attack. Have I done that? I have. Saying what's wrong with you instead of asking what happened. That I don't do, but I have used a harsh tone. I did it a few times in TikTok because I was fed up with grown people acting the way they were acting. So, yes, I've used the harsh purposely, because when I first started in TikTok, I would just kind of just let people just talk and talk and talk. Had no boundaries. They didn't care whether there were other people on the panel. They didn't care how long they were talking. They didn't stay on the topic. They just did what they wanted to do on those panels. So I had to put some order in there. And the way I had to do that, I had to enforce it. Look, if for those of you that come in here to listen to my journey, okay, fine. If you're not here for that, then you need to leave, because they had plenty rooms on TikTok for you to go in and hang out in and talk about nothing. Plenty rooms. Because I when I wasn't doing a live, I visit them. I didn't stay in them, but I visit them. So turning a learning moment into shame. Person just did that to my chat room. You know, turn that room right into a shame moment after we got through learning some stuff. Yes, yes, yes. responding with anger to a small misunderstanding. The reaction is bigger than the situation. Using sarcasm to belittle someone. Example, wow, you finally figured it out. And I've heard people say that. Wow, you finally figured it out. That's sarcasm. And then, it's funny how people use indirect sarcasm and they think that you don't know what they're saying. You know exactly what they're saying. They don't know that you know what they're saying because you don't make an issue out of it. And then what happened is when you accommodate them with their sarcasm, then they want to say, well, why she ain't talking to us? She ain't talking to you because it's a beautiful day. And being that it's a beautiful day, then you don't want to hear what I got to say. So that's why you said it's a beautiful day, because you didn't want to hear what I had to say. I caught that. I catch everything because I'm a good listener. I can't speak and know what I know without listening. Using sarcasm to belittle someone. Wow, you finally figured it out. Took you long enough. And then they'll say, "Oh, it took you long enough." Uh, Interrupting with force, not just cutting someone off or cutting them down. Giving feedback that is really just criticism. This is terrible. Why would you do it like that? Using a cold, dismissive tone. I don't care. Do whatever you want. The words are neutral, but the delivery is harsh. Now, this is the time I wish you guys could talk. Uh, but I really just wanted to bring in some different behaviors that people may not be aware that they're actually doing, and then some of them may be aware and they just don't care. They don't care about how they are and why they are. Um, some mirroring, like the mirroring behavior. These are moments when uh, their behaviors reflect your behavior. You speak softly, they lower their voice too. You smile, they start smiling back. You sit calmly, they relax their posture. You show respect, they respond respectfully. You stay patient, they slow down and match your pace. Mirroring, emotional atonement, rapid connection. This is not mirroring. These are moments when their behavior comes from them, not you. You're calm, they're yelling because they feel threatened. You're respectful, they're rude because they feel insecure. You're kind, they're jealous because they feel inadequate. You set a boundary, they get angry because they can't handle limits. You speak clearly, they accuse you of talking down because they have authoritative wounds. I get that. I got that a lot in TikTok, and they felt that I was talking down because I had the mama spirit on me. I am a mother, and I've always talked this way, and that's just who I am. I literally tried to change the way I speak for years. I even went as far as I have a sister One of my baby sister, my other one is gone. But I have a baby sister. I love the way she talk, and people just love her. And I wasn't jealous of her, but I didn't like people always had a problem with the way I spoke to them because they would always be intimidated. And I never wanted people to be intimidated by what I may say. And so I tried to change it up. It didn't work for me. And because it didn't work for me, because I wasn't made that way. My sister was made the way she was, and I was made the way I am. I may lose many people down the road because of who I am and the way I am, but that's a part of my journey. You see, it's a part of my journey. And it wasn't, and the way she speak all proper and polite and just sweet, that's her journey. And people love her. And I'm glad, but I just didn't want people to be offended by the way I spoke to them. But they were. They always, and then I had a son that said to me, well, he's gone now. And he passed in 2019, but he said to me, he said, Mama, he said, people are intimidated by you. You have an intimidating spirit, and it's on me, and I can't take it off me, and it always have been there. And there's no reason to be intimidated by me. And it's probably there because I'm an honest person, and because not only am I honest, I'm blunt and I'm truthful to me. And so when you are a person that's truthful to you, people that's not truthful to themselves, they're going to be intimidated. You're going to have an intimidating spirit. So when they come around you, they may start fights with you because they can't handle that energy you got on you. I've seen that at a young age. So now if you didn't know why people always messing with you, because you probably got that spirit on you where you're intimidating to them, and they can't handle that energy that you have. People that tell lies and people that don't care to tell the truth, they are intimidated by your spirit because it's like the light shining in their darkness. You're not going to pick that up until some later years. And because when it was happening, it took my son to tell me that. I was in my 30s then, and it took him no, I was in my, I just had turned 40. He was 18. He was 18. I was in my 40s. So when he told me that, I started analyzing that. Because I used to go and cry sometimes because people just always misunderstood the things that I have said. And I got tired of that. But now I'm not going to say I don't care. I do care, but I'm going to be me regardless. I'm going to be me. And people have said things to me, uh, but I'm going to be me. And that's just the way it is. You're going to be you. I'm going to be me. There's some things about you I don't like. So, and I put up with it. And you never hear me talk about it. So that's how that works. So Kirby says, you're on point. I too began to look at my behavior as it relates to people and their responses to me. Yes, we have to. If you are a person that is want to be better, do better, you have to do that. You and guess what? You're gonna have some gaslighters on you, in your face. You're gonna have projectors in your face. You're gonna have low self-esteem people in your face. You're gonna have all them type of people in your face. Look at yourself, because you may be. It may be a mirror for you, and it may not be a mirror for you. But it's best to look at it. Make sure that it's not a mirror, because everything is a lesson. Everything is a lesson. The reason why we have to see gaslighters and projectors, because we have to be able to recognize that behavior So when we recognize that behavior, we know how to handle that behavior the next time. What I experienced in TikTok, I am better equipped for it the next time around. Um, I'm always more relaxed on YouTube because all that noise is not with me. And the noise was a lot. And that was my first time having to deal with a whole bunch of noise. I used to be on Facebook with 5,000 people. Uh, it was the same as YouTube right here. It wasn't that kind of noise that they have on TikTok. People are literally talking through voices. And so it was just too much. It was just too much energy that wasn't interested in becoming a better them. And people don't realize you if you are a person that has the intuition in you, you can experience and feel energy, and you know when it's off and you know when it's not off, because you're going to reciprocate the goodness of that energy. When you don't reciprocate the goodness of that energy, you wind up getting a headache, you wind up being so tired, and you got to lay down. And that's what was happening to me. I wasn't getting headache on TikTok, but I had to lay down a lot right after I got finished with it. And then I just got a headache the other day. I was talking on the phone with somebody, and I got a headache. And then it was the worst headache I've had in years. And and so I just learned what I have to do now is not, I have to take a break from talking on the phone now. I have to take a break just from talking to people right now and recuperate, because that happens when you are empath. All of us are empaths. When you are empath, so children are empath. When you're empath, you take on other people's energy. You take it on, and then you wake up. You wake up feeling a certain way, and that's not you. You feeling them, and you got to be able to know the difference. You know. Okay, so you're kind. They're jealous because they feel inadequate. You set a boundary. They get angry because they can't handle the limit. You speak clearly. They accuse you of talking down because they have authoritative wounds, and that generally comes from the relationship they had with their mothers. Not mirroring their wounds, their ego, and their insecurity. Uh, the mother on the panel. I brought this up because uh, there was a young lady that did come in the panel in TikTok, and she said when I was talking, she said, "You got children?" She said, "Do you talk to your children?" And I said to her, "Yeah, I do have children, and I do talk to my children the same way I'm talking to y'all, but just differently. Whatever I know, whatever my journey is, my son and I, we drink hot chocolate every morning, and we talk every day. We do that every day, and so yeah, we have conversations. We've had conversations about my experience on TikTok, and he told me day two, Mama, get off. Because you should be enjoying it. Because he watched me go through stuff, and so his attitude is, you don't have to do nothing. You ain't got to do nothing for them people. Let them people handle their own stuff. You ain't got to do nothing. And that's how a child that cares about their parent talk. And of course, I didn't listen to him. I mean, I heard him and I didn't hear him because I care about people. I do, but I don't like the behavior sometimes displayed as an adult when you should be acting like an adult instead of acting like a child. That just really does something to me. So anyway, the mother talked about the mother on the panel energy because that's what I am. This is a guidance, not control. It's teaching, not manipulation. It's offering, not forcing. That's why I always say take what works and what doesn't work, throw it away. A mother on the panel speaks from wisdom, experience, clarity, care, boundaries, self possession. She says, here's what I've learned. Use what helps you. Here's what I've learned. Take out of what I'm teaching that works for you. And if it don't, just throw it away. It's okay. I'm not I'm not trying to make people be like me at all. It just a lot of people don't understand this. When you have intuition, you get stuff all the time from your intuition, and you have to release it. You have to release it. I journal a lot. I not only do I journal, I got tons and tons and tons of notepads. And people don't believe that the stuff that I'm learning, they don't believe it. And that's okay with me. I'm releasing. That's what Deborah is doing. That's why I started doing videos to release, because sometimes you feel like you're going to explode. You have to release. That's just like anger. When you get mad, and I know y'all have gotten this angry. You ever been so angry one time and you couldn't release it like you really wanted to, and you got so angry you start uh, trying to find some kind of way to release it. Well, I found a way to release my intuition stuff that I get. I found a way to release it. I release it through videos. I release it through uh, journaling. My hand hurts so much because I write so much. I type a lot. I do a lot of typing, you know. And so I have to rest my hand. When I lay down, I have to take my hands and put them a certain way, because if I lay on it, it's going to hurt me even worse the next day. But you have to find a way to release. If you have anger problems, you got to release. If you have girl problems, female problems, you got to find a way to release so you can figure out a way to get along. Because we have to get along with one another. Because we're going to run into, I have not experienced what I just experienced the other day with somebody mocking me. I've never had that, but I got it in TikTok. I never had nobody mocking me, but I didn't like that attitude, and I don't like it now, because I would never do that to anybody. See, because here's the thing: you may have some thought about me in a negative way. I might have a thought about you in a negative way, but I just don't tell you, because I'm good for that. Because when you point a finger at me, I could point a finger at you, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. So I choose to keep it to myself. Or I may talk about something that you may have said to me that may have hurt my feeling. And I said to my son, and he's going to always take up for me most of the time. Now, if I am wrong, he's going to tell me that too. But most of the time, he's going to take up for his mother. And they're going to always say, let that stuff go. You ain't got to do that. Those are his words. Let it go. You ain't got to do that. But I love people. Sometimes I wish I didn't care as much as I do care. I'll be honest with you. I sometimes I have wished that. you know. But it is what it is. You can't change who you are if that's a part of you. Only the things that's not a part of you are the things that is gonna go. But things that are a part of you ain't going nowhere. So you got to adjust your way of thinking. So this mother is, here's what I've learned. Use what help you. She does not demand agreement. I don't ask nobody to agree with me. She does not chase validation. I don't need nobody down here in this earth to validate who I am. The universe already has. Once the universe has validated who I am, I appreciate when people do and care and show me care and everything. But when the universe gives me numbers and I could uh, interpret those numbers because they only come from the universe. When I can interpret those numbers, I'm good. And believe it or not, when I got off TikTok, those numbers kept coming. They kept coming, and I gave a box, a cheat sheet of what those numbers mean, because I'm not the only one seeing. They're called sequential numbers. I'm not the only one seeing them, but they usually come when you are going through something or you need an answer to something. So I gave you the cheat sheet. So when you look at the cheat sheet, if you see 999, right beside 999, it gives you something. So you're supposed to look at each one of those when you see those sequential numbers, because it's answering you. It's giving you an answer back. It's responding back to what you're thinking. It's responding back to what you want to know. And it's responding back to what you need, what you need to know that you don't know. So those numbers are for you. I get them all the time. Um, when I am in alignment, I don't get them. But when I'm out of alignment is when I get those numbers. And then I get them also to encourage me as well. So she does not chase validation. She does not collapse if someone disagrees. Not going to do that. All I ask is that when you disagree, do it respectfully. Don't try to make me be you, and I'm not trying to make you be me. The thing that people have not learned in school, and sadly, and I was a strange old child, because when they were trying to teach kids to be competitive, I would whisper in kids' ear, "This is the answer. This is the answer." That's the type of child I was. When they used to make us stand in a line to do those multiplication, the best one standing is the winner. Just swelling their heads up instead of teaching them to help one another. We had spelling bees, we had multiplication thing, and so they taught the kids to be competitive. Mama was working, so she didn't know to why she was getting those kids fighting. They were fighting because the school was teaching. Excuse me, that the school was teaching the kids to be in competition with one another. And sometimes Mama herself would show one child that it looked like that one, she loved that one child more than she did the other one. That's what it looked like. But the child didn't know that. To the child, Mama loved her more than she loved me. I didn't have that problem. But later on, when I got the job at IBM, my mother started bragging on me because I was the first one I wasn't the first one to go through college. My brother was. I have a brother older than me. He went through college first, but he didn't live with us. And then when I got through got my master's degree, my IBM hired me. And so I was able to help my family out some with the money that I was making. And so my mother bragged on me. I don't know if that contributed to the behavior toward me besides my outspokenness, my bluntness, because I was both of those. But they didn't like me very much. Even though I helped them, they still didn't like me very much. And so I had to go through that. I felt like Joseph in the Bible, where Joseph was bragging on the fact that, telling his brothers, then now that's a metaphor, that's not real. But he was telling his brothers that they gonna serve him one day. You see, and that's when they put him, because daddy loves Joseph more than he did the other sons. And so they put him into slavery. I felt like a Joseph story. You see, and I went through that process mentally. I felt so outside of the family. But it's okay now because I got older. I started allowing the universe to pull stuff up, and I let it go, pull stuff up and I let it go, and pull stuff up and I let it go. And the more that happened, the more I start seeing a beautiful Deborah. Because, see, you got to see yourself in a way that nobody else will never see you. Okay? Because if you wait on somebody else to lift you, it ain't going to happen. There's even a story in the Bible where David, and it's a metaphor again, I'm talking literal. David was looking to see somebody to encourage him. And when they were going through battles, there was nobody there to lift him, to encourage him. So he had to encourage himself. And so that's what I do. You see, because I get misunderstood most of the time. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lonely, lonely road when you get misunderstood. And I found myself having to explain, and it didn't matter because the people that was misunderstanding me had already misunderstood me and judged me. And they think that I don't know that. Come on now. I wasn't born yesterday. I see that. And the funniest thing about it, you're not in no position to judge nobody. I got shit, you got shit, everybody got shit. So when I speak with wisdom, clarity, and authority, some people don't hear the actual words. They hear the childhood wounds. And that's what I picked up. And I'm right, and I've written what I experienced in TikTok. If y'all notice, that's what I'm doing. I heard childhood wounds. When the young lady said, "You got children," she was telling me, you're talking to us like children. And I picked that up. I got that, you know. And so, but when adults uh, don't like you talking to them like they are a child, is because they have childhood wounds. And when you say something out your mouth as an older mother, they don't like it because they haven't healed. Those wounds that they have are still there and alive. They don't even know that they need healing. They don't even know what steps to take to heal. They don't know. Unfortunately, I had to go through so much. So much. That's why you can be speaking calmly, teaching, guiding, and they still react like you're telling me what to do. I got a lot of that from TikTok. You think you're better than me? No. You're trying to control me? No. Even when you're not. This is not about you, it's about their nervous system. All of us, we got that nasty food. If you don't have a garden, you got that nasty food that we're eating at those stores. Eating at those stores. We got that nasty water. Uh what is the name of that guy that work on computers? He said we're drinking shit water. And that's what we're doing. We're drinking shit water. So we don't, back in our days in the 70s, we used to have minerals in the food and the water. And matter of fact, water was in the vegetables and stuff that we ate. And so I really didn't drink that. I was drinking Kool-Aid back then. I wasn't even really drinking no water. It was in the food. So what was happening back then is that the minerals that we were taking in was replenishing the body itself. You can look at people's body right now and tell that it's not healthy. It's not going to be healthy when you're not replenishing the minerals. We're lacking minerals. Like my hair up in the top here and my hair standing out. Uh, Minerals, parasites. A lot of people don't realize you because you got animal skin. Parasites love us, but some people want to take the head like the oyster and put it down in the sand and act like we don't have nasty skin. Our skin is nasty, people. That's why them little flying insects like to clamp onto your skin. Yeah, you think you are an alive carcass, but you're dead. Your skin is dead. We have to learn. I mean, I'm real plus plus on those that got gardens, because they're the only ones in this earth that may have some minerals in their body. The people that have gardens, because that shit that we eating out the stores, that's GMO. That's not good stuff. It's not good stuff. And I'm gonna tell you, I used to didn't smell. And what's smelling me, and I don't eat meat really. What's causing me to smell is the vegetables. It probably turned into maggots as soon as it digested in my body. And I can't stand it, but it is what it is. So what I try to do is do me some cloves and do me some turmeric and one other thing that I do, to make some tea. I just started 2 days now because it smells so bad. No, but that's what's also causing mental health issues. People are not balanced. Can't become balanced when you don't have the minerals in your body. And we try so hard to become balanced. But you got to know what you're lacking, what minerals you're lacking in your body to become balanced. That's why the nervous system is all messed up. People attention span is messed up. People they gotta talk. They gotta talk. They gotta talk. Their throat chakra is all out of wax. They gotta talk. They don't care what they're talking about. They just need to talk. I saw all of this on TikTok, and this particular video is about my TikTok experience. Some adults never learn how to receive guidance without feeling judged. If they grew up being shamed, corrected, or talked down to, they interpret any guidance as an attack. You say, here's the perspective. They're here, you're wrong. Hi 79 P. Diddy. How you doing? Good to see you. So leadership, some adults confuse leadership with control, especially if they never seen healthy leadership. You speak with confidence. They think you're bossy. You speak with clarity. They think you're controlling. You speak with authority. They think you're trying to dominate. This is their distortion, not your intention. Don't let people change you by when they accuse you of something that you're not, because people will do it. People always got opinions, and they're very quick to give you an opinion without even thinking the thing through. I'm the type of person I would like to hear both sides of the story, because there's her side, his side, and the truth is in between there. And I like to be able to examine. Now, because I've had a lot of experience in life, and because I am a person that look at people's patterns and stuff, I pretty much can tell who the problem was because of pattern. And that's been put in me, and I tried to not be that way, but it is what it is. I see myself, I see others, and that's just who it is. Some adults are triggered by strong feminine authorities. A woman who speaks with clarity, boundaries, and wisdom can activate insecurity, defensiveness, ego, fear of being corrected, fear of being exposed. This is especially true on TikTok, where people project heavily. Talking to control people. Control is where the goal is to force agreement, shape someone's behavior, make them think like you, get them to obey, remove their choice, dominate the narrative. Control sounds like you need to, you better, you should. If you don't do this, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. Control removes the other person's agency. Guidance preserves it. Your face, uh, take what resonate with you and throw it away, removes control, but they don't hear it. The phase proves that I'm not in control, but people who are wounded don't hear that. They hear tone, they hear authority, they hear confident, and confident triggers insecure people. I know that because it's been going on for quite some time. People that are very insecure, and I do mean very insecure, they get triggered easily because it takes them back to their childhood experience with their mother or their father, and they have not healed. They continue to bury the pain, and the pain does not come up again until someone triggered them. A lot of that went on TikTok. The time that I was on, this is what I got for the time that I was on TikTok. This was my experience with TikTok. I see TikTok as a place of mental health is extremely live. People need healing, but you got to see that you need healing before healing would take place. When when I say take what resonate with you and throw it away in the trash or whatever, I'm doing the opposite of control. I am releasing the autonomy back to them, removing pressure, removing ego, removing the need to be right, honoring their discernment, teaching without forcing. This is the highest form of mature communication. It says, I'm offering wisdom, not demanding obedience. People who try to control others never say the phase because control requires attachment to be right. My phase dissolves that attachment. That's why I say it. That's why I said it in the beginning. Because I want people to know I'm not trying to control you. I want people to know this is my journey. I'm just sharing my journey with you because I need to release. I need to release. And there's three ways that I release. That's journaling, and that is YouTube, well, multimedia. And then the other way that I release when I can is I walk some. Um, I have what they call degenerate arthritis. And so I'm trying different herbs to try to get rid of it. I've not given up on it and say I'm just completely just gonna die with it. I'm not doing that. I haven't given up. So I just keep on trying different herbs. And that's what I'm doing, which means I call it nasty blood. There was a time when I received blood transfusion, and I believe they gave me some nasty blood because I've been feeling this ever since that nasty blood was given to me. And I know they gave me nasty blood. Okay. All right. Okay. So they identify with the mirror by asking one internal question before reacting eternally. Is any part of what they're doing something I also do, avoid, or struggle with? I'm giving you some examples of how you can check yourself to see if when you come across people, um, if they're mirroring you, these are some questions you can ask yourself. And if when you ask yourself these questions, these are like checkpoints. And then when you ask yourself these questions, it's not applicable. That means you still have to learn from them because once you see that pattern of their behavior, when it comes along again, you'll be able to recognize it and you'll be able to deal with it better because we really learning stuff. That's what we're doing. We're learning stuff. And no, we're not in this earth to have a human experience. I want you to think about now, this coming from me. I want you to think about this in a serious way. Why would us being sovereignty in a place that's not on this earth, why would be we being sovereignty come down in a place to learn what? We know everything. In that place we was already at, we know already. Why the heck would we come to a place to learn something we already know. Come on, people. Look at them babies. When them babies come out them bellies, they already in their sovereignty. And they got sense enough to know that we, being adults, we are ignorant and we don't know baby talk. So what did they do? They cry. They know to cry to get our attention. And then if we don't, when they cry and we don't listen to them, they get louder. You think that's by coincidence? Those babies are very smart. They're in their sovereignty when they come here. They're already in it. It's when mama get a hold of them, grandma get a hold of them, daddy get a hold of them, the school system get a hold of them, then the corruption take place. We do it because of ignorance, but we can fix it. We can fix it. As we learn to do things better, we teach it better. And that's all we can do. We can't go back and fix what we did, but we can share what we did. That's why when I had the panel, I always would tell people, share your experience. I didn't want you to come on the panel trying to tell people what to do. I wanted you to come on the panel sharing your experience, because it's your experience that makes a difference, that could be implemented in someone else's life, because they may be going through the same thing you just came out of, and they don't know the answer to what they're experiencing. And so when they hear it coming from you and how you came out of it, they be like, wow, I can do that. That's why no matter how embarrassing your experience may be, just remember that somebody may need to hear it. And it does work, because I've seen that work. There have been many people crying in my TikTok room. Many. Because somebody else shared an experience. But if you are, like when some people, and I ain't trying to pick on church people, but the preacher would tell the church people, go out there and give a testimony. When you listen to your discernment and know what that person needs, then you're able to speak what they need to hear. Because you can't do that if you had not experienced that. I remember a person said, Jody called me, she needed $20. Well, you had $20 in your purse, but you get on the phone and call somebody else, because your attitude is, I'm not giving Jody my last $20. But that $20 you kept in your wallet might have caused you to get $100 or $200 or $300. You know why I'm saying that? Because it happened to me. I've done that so many times I can't even count them. Because money is just a tool. It's not supposed to control you. You're supposed to control it. It's just a tool, like everything else. Material possession is just tools. Every time I move, I give away furniture, and the furniture still be in good shape. We just moved to Huntsville in September. We just my son's father paid $6,000 for us to get the furniture to fill the place up with furniture. When we move, we're gonna give this furniture away. It's just stuff and things. People, when you get to a place of detachment, you'll feel so good. I was so attached with material possession back when I was in my 20s. Oh my goodness, I was attached. It feels good not to be attached to that stuff. You use it for what you need to use it for and just move on. But I said that to say this. You got a person that, and I use this one all the time, because preacher man told you to give a testimony and you got material possession, but you forgot you used to be a prostitute. And you meet a young lady and she needs to hear your testimony, but not the material one. She needs to hear the prostitute testimony, how you got out of it, the fact that you were one, and the fact that you no longer one. That is the one that's going to help her. Discernment, people. Discernment. That's real. You have it. Stop having a form of godliness, but denying the power within. You have the God substance within you. Stop denying that because you're afraid of that. Don't be afraid. It's what was given to you to live in this earth. Everybody knows that about the soul children, except for the soul children. Everybody knows that the soul children is the ones that's causing this earth to be in the condition that it's in, except for the soul children. We got to come out of that. We have the power. The power is in us to change everything that you see, because we are the ones that made everything that you see the way it is because of ignorance. It is ignorance that caused us to put this place in this condition that it's in. It's ignorance. Soul children did it. So what do we have to do? Wake up from a slumber. When you wake up, you keep waking up, then you will wake everything else up. You know, there's a scripture that says, one put 1,000 to flight, two put 10,000 to flight. That's real, people. One person that's woken up can cause alchemical change to take place with 10,000 people. A thousand, I mean, two with two, one person can cause a person, 1,000 people to change. Two could cause 10,000 to change just by waking up. We can do that. It's real, people. So if you stop having the form, because that's what it was talking about. Just like I just did that video the other day about people thought the word God gave two men over to a reprobated mind, that they would come from their natural use. That's you. That's me. Anytime you take on the form of godliness and you deny the power, you are going from the natural use of things. Had nothing to do with homosexuality, but the preacher preached it and you believed it. So the word male, men in the Bible, it means mind, M-I-N-D. They're not going to teach that stuff in church because they're not supposed to. They're supposed to keep you brain dead. And as long as you go and listen to those preachers with those stories that they tell, they're going to keep on telling because they're getting paid for that. They're getting paid to give you those stories because the government said government and church is not together, but they are. The church sits under the government. 501c3 is government, baby. And those major churches are under the government. 501c3. So we we have to learn. Um, we have to learn. You have to not be afraid of yourself, and you have to not be afraid of others. I wasn't afraid of others, and I'm gonna put this down. I think I'm done here with that. I wasn't afraid of others. I just didn't want to rock the boat because I know things could come out my mouth to hurt people's feelings. And I wouldn't be trying to hurt their feelings. It's just that I see things and people, you see things. And if you're like me, when a person is talking, their energy don't line up with what they're saying out their mouth. And you being an empath and you've been a soul child, you know that they're talking and it's not lining up with the energy you're experiencing from them. It's not lining up. But they don't know that you know it's not lining up. You see? But you know. And you're not going to tell them because you don't want to hurt their feelings. That's at least me. I'm going to say I didn't want to tell them because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. But if I'm speaking in a room of people, then I'll talk about it. But if it's just me and you're pointing the finger at me, I'm not going to point the finger at you because I know who I am. But I am guilty of trying to convince you of who I am. But since I've had the TikTok experience, I'm done. I don't have to convince anybody of who I am anymore. I didn't have to do it then, but I tried to do it because I cared. I still care, but I care more about me now. I care about you, but I care more about me now. I care about me to get off TikTok because TikTok is a low vibrational uh, place. You don't believe me? Look at the I think I'm gonna put them underneath this video. I got some reviews. That's more than me saying this. It's the algorithm that goes on in TikTok. That's the first uh, app that I've seen that I've been on that is just horrible. Several people have committed suicide being on that app. And I'm going to post those things underneath this video so you can see them. It ain't going to be immediate because I got to go and pull them. But if the energy is not good, why stay? You know, we have to learn to say c'est la vie because it's about my journey. Because I can't stay on your journey. That's your journey. I have a journey I have to go on. So I need to stay on my journey and stay focused on my journey and go where I need to go. Because I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to master everything that I need to master within myself. And I can't do that in low vibration because I'm fighting. Every day I'm fighting this energy first. I'm fighting this energy because it's low vibration. I don't want that. So what I did, I removed myself from it. Ain't nothing coming to save nobody. Nothing. The Savior is in you already. Even Jesus told you that. It's in you already. And we have to pay attention to us as individuals. Ain't nothing wrong with hooking up with Betsy and Jack and Jackie, but have your discernment and your intuition on. Because people you think has your better interest at hand, they don't. I did a video called Smiling Faces. Smiling faces tell lies sometimes, and they don't tell the truth. And you got to focus on that. You got to remember that. And just because people do things for you, kind acts for you, doesn't mean they have your best interests at hand. You still got to look at them too. And it's sad, but it's the truth. I had an experience with that at IBM when I first started and when I was in my 20s. I thought those people were kind people, only to find out they'll buy your house, they'll buy your car, they'll give you money in your hand, but they hated our guts back then. That's not the case now. That was what I experienced back then that I really could not believe. Because I didn't know that people can do kind things for you and have hatred in their heart. I didn't know that. I was 20 something years old. But I learned that even today, that pattern is still the same today with other ethnic groups. They can have hate in their heart for you, but will buy you lunch, give you money, do things for you, but hate your guts. But if you use your discernment and your intuition, you good. But you got to use it, people. At this moment, I wish you guys can talk. I just wanted to come on and talk about my experience with TikTok. I'm happy to be off there. I will put some stuff underneath this video. Give me about 30 minutes and I'll put it under there for you to go and take a look. It's seriously real. The algorithm is really horrible there. And I could feel things, but that there, I mean, I was literally fighting, just fighting the energy, and it was steady pulling me. It's not good. When that stuff is not good for you, you have to get gone. I don't care if it's your mama, your sister, your brother, your best friend, the job that you own, you got to go. You got to go because like I said, the universe had been telling me to get gone, and I was messing around. 555, I was seeing it all the time. But this last time when I put it together, oh my goodness. I'm like, I better get gone now. because it turned out pretty ugly for me, and I better get gone. And that's what I've done. So if the universe is telling you to do something, and it's the universe, you, in this time period that we're in, you might want to do it. You might want to do it because it's important. Because my 555 told me this: my spirit had went ahead of me and left me where I was. So now I got to catch up with my spirit, because that door is closed to me. That door was closed to me. So I was still trying to operate in that door that was closed to me. And when you try to operate in a door that's closed to you, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. More shit is going to keep popping up, popping up, popping up, popping up. That's negative. It's not going to work because you got to go. You got to go. And that's what was happening to me. But I was trying to stay there for the people. Might have been it was a few people, but I had to go. So when your intuition tell you to move, move. Because I'm gonna tell you, your intuition will always tell you to do something that your intellect have you comfortable in. And so the intuition will rock the boat. It would tell you to do something that's gonna make you uncomfortable. I can tell you that now. Where the intellect, which is your solar plexus, will have you comfortable. Well, shoot, I'm in this $300,000 home. I drive a Mercedes. I got a good job. Shoot, I'm doing good. Intuition whispered in that nice little thought. Leave Texas. And then your intuition and your intellect said, "What you mean leave Texas?" Intuition ain't gonna say it but one time. It ain't gonna keep putting it there for you, but because see, it'll put it in your head there, and then things start happening around you. Things start happening. You're like, what the hell is going on? You were told to leave Texas, and you stayed there, and you stayed too long because you didn't want to give up your house, you didn't want to give up your car, you didn't want to give up your job, because you are in a comfort zone. Intuition will take you out of the comfort zone, and that's how you know that is the truth, because it's going to take you out your comfort zone. It's going to take you to a place that you will be afraid to go because of security. See, when we're in a secured place here financially, we ain't going to get up out of that, because now we live in life. And then intuition will tell you, sell that shit and leave Texas, or give it away and leave Texas. And that's your war. You're going to have a war. And you have a war because you're thinking this is the way it's supposed to be. People in the church attitude is, if I got material possession, then God loves me. If I got material possession, then I got it going on. But there's a scripture in there that tells you what profits the mind, not man, what profits the mind when it take on the whole world. what does it profit you? Gain the whole world and lose his soul. What does it profit you? Nothing. Because guess what? You can't take none of this stuff with you. But guess what? If you don't master what you need to master, you're going somewhere. And that's all the soul is trying to do for you, is to get you to master the solar plexus, which is that thing they call the sun, that thing that is uh controlling that sun outside of you. You're controlling it. It's not controlling you. It doesn't give life to the earth. Who told you that? You let somebody tell you that the sun up there is giving life to the earth? It's not. You're giving life to the sun because you carry the solar plexus in your belly, which is the sun, the SOL up there. That's you. You doing that. And I promise you, the closer you get, when you fly in an airplane, and I've been in some big jet airplanes. When you fly in airplanes, the more you go up, the cooler it gets. That sun is not putting no heat out there. It's coming off y'all. The heat is coming from you all. It's coming from you all. And that's all your intuition is trying to do, is to help you elevate to your God self, which is the generator, operator, and destroyer. It amazes me when people say that I got to get grounded. So for me to get grounded, I'm going to go and walk on the grass. I'm going to walk on the dirt. That's not how you get grounded. You got to master those chakras inside of you. And the more you master each chakra, the more grounded you become. It's inside, folks. You let people tell you that these things has to occur from the outside. The mastering take place in the inside of you. For every chakra you master, the more you become grounded. The first four chakras that you have is connected to the earth. The one that's connected, that is ruling the earth, is the solar plexus. They used to call that the brain at one time. But when people start waking up, they start putting hush hush on certain words. Just like they used to use the word psychology. When I was in college, they said psychology was the study of the soul. They don't even know what that is. Then as time progressed, they made it the study of the mind. The mind and the soul is two different things. The mind is like a receiver and a transmitter. Whatever comes from the solar plexus to the mind, whatever comes from the soul to the mind. So the mind is a receiver of it, and what it does, it transmit or translate what is given, and then that's when you start to manifest. People, they know that. That's why they give you subliminal this and subliminal that, and they know what will destroy you and block you from being connected to your soul, which in the head. That's why I broke down the melanin, the neuromelanin. The neuromelanin is the nigra. Some people say the nega or the negro. Okay, the nigra, which is connected to the what? cosmos. That's connected to the cosmos. You are the soul child. Then you got the euromelanin. The euromelanin is the earth. Then you got phyomelanin. That's earth. So stop going around saying that avians don't have melanin. They have it. They just don't have what the neuromelanin have, because the neuromelanin came from the cosmos. Everything else didn't. They ain't gonna break it down for you like that because they don't want you to know. That's why they confuse the mind. That's why they confuse the soul. But when you look at the soul, you got the sole of the feet, SOLE, sun. Then you got the solar plexus, which is soul, sun. Then you got the nigro, the nigro, the neuromelanin, which is the sun. The sun, the hidden god Ra. That is the hidden god Ra. How do I know that? My name has Ra in it. So I have to know that. So when they talk about the hidden God, they don't know, scientists don't know where that hidden God is in your head. That Niagara, they'll tell you that it causes Parkinson disease. Just like they told you bipolar is a symptom, which is a sickness. It's not, it's natural. Bipolar, you got two poles, the left and right, you got two. They're called, bi means two, and polar means the two poles. That's natural. That's not a sickness. And schizophrenia, all that is this chakra system is out of balance. So what they do, they give these poor people medication to make it worse. And still, maybe they don't know. Maybe they can't explain the chakra system being out of alignment. Maybe they can't explain that. Because when you don't master the chakra system, each one, and you have to master each one step by step by step, because you got to be able to identify it first. When you don't, guess what happens? They become out of alignment. Then you start having thoughts in your head, racing thoughts. But it ain't something that can't be dealt with. But medical field won't deal with that. They're going to give you some medicine. You need somebody that can explain it to you, that know what it is. Maybe some hermetic doctors can do that. I don't know. Nobody taught me about the chakra system. The universe did. But you got to realize you got to do the work. You got to do the work. You can't just think something's just going to come in your face. You got to do the work. You got to identify. You got to learn anatomy within yourself. The intuition teaches you that. Intuition teaches you all that stuff. Doctors are amazed in stuff that I know, but they just, they are amazed. Because I didn't go to school as a doctor. My niece is a doctor. She's amazed. She's a sorority. You know that all physicians are fraternities. I hope you know that. Attorneys, physicians, 501c3 preachers, anybody that's in a corporations, fraternities, they made sure they put them all in place, trying to control the soul children. Ain't that some shit? They went through all of that trying to keep the soul children down. Well, guess what? That period is over. It's over. Can't control us no more. We being helped by a force that you can't stop. Because I know damn well I wouldn't be able to know any of this stuff if it wasn't for something helping me. At 69, and to go all the way back, you got to do the same thing, people. It's in you. But anyway, I'm gonna close. It's after 8 o'clock. I appreciate you guys coming. If you have you want a birth chart done, hit me up in my email. I do birth charts, and I put a little twist to it. Um, I do a little consultation, but there's a fee for that. Um, I'm just not able to give my time like that no more because people tend to the more time you give them, the more they want, and I have to help myself. So anyway, good people, y'all take care. Y'all have a good night, and thanks for coming in.